What's up, Liquid Lifers? It's Preston from Liquid Life here for episode 3 of Liquid Life. We are joined by my good friend Rodger Saffold.
Hey guys.
Thank you so much for joining us for episode 3 of Liquid Life, and we have some really amazing waters to test out, and I'm really excited to sit down and chat with Rodger about a number of topics.
Yes.
Yeah, so should we get started with this first water?
Yeah, let's try it.
Awesome. I teased Rodger with some Trader Joe's mineral water before we got into this, and I'm a fan of that mineral water. There's a lot of these big grocery stores have their own kind of competitor to Pellegrino and stuff that are these Italian mineral waters, which are lower in mineral content, but to me it's like a good everyday kind of water, and they're super affordable to have in glass.
It was very refreshing.
I'm a fan. We like the Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a strange shaped bottle, but as far as the first water in our little docket today, this is Aqua Carpatica. This is a Romanian water sourced from the Carpathian Mountains.
Oh, okay.
So this is a spring water. Kind of look at that bottle, check it out. I really love the bottle design on this water.
This is crazy. It looks like a piece of art.
Now this water is oftentimes tested as one of the cleanest, most pure spring waters in the world.
Really?
And so I'm gonna get your feedback on how it tastes, what you think about it.
Okay.
And do you know anything about TDS? So TDS means total dissolved solids, which is the actual mineral content that's in the water.
Gotcha.
And so with this one, it has a TDS of about 180 milligrams per liter, which is average for a spring water.
Okay.
In mineral water, it has to be at 250 milligrams per liter or higher.
Gotcha.
So that's what clalifies it as a mineral water. And with these other three, we get into some crazy territories. So this is kind of a good little base level.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
So I'll pour you a glass.
Yeah, thank you.
And so, Rodger, you want to kind of let the audience know how we met initially and how kind of God put us in one pew away from each other a couple weeks ago. We just happened to start chatting about one of our favorite brands, Mountain Valley.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we met at men's group. Of course, in men's group you get a ton of different personalities, different characters, different shades of people, but through that, we were able to come to a common ground because a lot of men as a whole are struggling with a bunch of different things. And I met you out there. Yep. We did share a group together, got a chance to know you a little bit, and knew about you artistically. Knowing that you're an artist now, after knowing that you were doing music when I first talked to you, it's flowing through you, and I just feel that creative gene that I wish I had.
I think you do have it. It just is manifesting itself in a different way.
Yeah. Could be.
Cheers, Aqua Carpatica. Do a little taste test. What's kind of coming off your palate to start off with?
Not too much. I mean, it's clean, it's smooth, refreshing. But yeah, that's all I'm really getting. I'm not getting too much taste from it. It just tastes like a really nice, clean water.
I concur with all those sentiments.
Yeah.
And it's marketed as a TDS of 181 milligrams per liter with 47 milligrams of calcium and 15 milligrams of magnesium. Jeez. Of course, as you know, as an athlete, that calcium is super important and that magnesium is super important.
Yeah.
And so with these mineral waters, they're really the initial form of supplementation. Before supplements were an industry, mineral waters were a major industry around the world. And in the US, there's all these naturally occurring mineral sources. So this is testing it at 197 parts per million, which is the same as a TDS of 197. So it's the same thing, parts per million versus total dissolved solids. So it's really similar to what it's actually marketed as. Because when you get into these higher ones, the marketing of it gets kind of a little more out of whack. But I have a lot of grace for them because they are living water sources and they're not so easily able to be controlled like a municipally sourced tap water that you're getting sold like Nessentia or Smart Water or something like that.
Yeah, and it's better than where we were getting our mineral water from when we were young, which is from the garden hose. So, any change is pretty nice. I know that like growing up, especially when we were playing football, any water was just water that you needed. It wasn't anything specific. And now it seems like it's been branded crazy. Like it's an explosion. And, first it was clean water, purified water. There was alkaline water. Now people are going back to the mineral water because they want something to truly hydrate themselves rather than just something that just goes in and out of your body in an instant. So yeah, I like talking about this for sure.
And that's cool to like really see it from, in a way, the most intense angle, a professional athlete, seeing all these water trends firsthand, and probably all these water companies coming after you and your friends and your organizations that you're working for. When's the first time you kind of became aware of the water you're drinking as an athlete?
You know, I think that it possibly came after I moved to LA to play football here with the Rams. I was in St. Louis originally, and then we moved to LA. So around 2016, 2017 is where I really started getting into more of my nutrition, and that had to include water. It was actually kind of brought forth to me because I was always getting the eating portion right.
Yeah.
But based on my blood type, it's actually, there are certain waters that I can't have.
Really?
Because my body, based on my blood type, I'm O negative, and it's the most acidic for my stomach, which I found out recently that alkaline water does not agree with somebody that's heavily acidic.
Really?
So I had been drinking the wrong water for a pretty good amount of time, which is why we ended up, talking about the Mountain Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I haven't heard that blood type
So
kind of relating
crazy.
to the alkalinity, because our stomachs are so acidic, and I guess with
Yes.
O negative, it's even more acidic.
Yes, we have supposedly we have the highest acidity within our stomach, which causes, taking pills can be tough because you don't get a chance to dissolve them. Eating certain foods can not be absorbed correctly. So there's a lot of science. There's a lot of science behind all of this. But if all you got to tell me is to drink more mineral water, stay away from, the alkaline, I can do that easily. And it's just such a simple change. Water should be your easiest change. It might be a little bit more expensive, but you get what you pay for.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you see our 5-gallon Mountain Valley drum over there.
Oh my gosh, man. It's got to happen.
And do you subscribe to the 5-gallon drum also?
Yes, we just have, but we recently did that because we were in the Philippines. And
Yep.
We just got back from the Philippines.
But
So
you subscribed like literally a couple days ago,
Oh,
jet
man.
lagged on the Mountain Valley trying to figure out the delivery
gotta
setup.
make it work. Gotta make it work. I just gotta run through these Fiji waters first.
I really, so Fiji water is almost technically a mineral water. Their marketing
Really?
TDS is 220 milligrams per liter, but then it's in a plastic bottle.
Yeah.
And water is inherently a solvent, meaning it'll dissolve whatever it's stored in.
Yeah.
But the good thing is with mineral waters, when water is stripped down to just H2O and it's purified and distilled, or reverse osmosis, vapor distilled, it actually acts more as a solvent than as it does when it has more of the minerals in it, because it's much more harsh, right?
Right.
And so that's the good thing about a mineral water in a plastic bottle is it will dissolve that plastic a little less quickly, but it is coming from Fiji, which is far away. And you think about how these plastic bottles are, on these international shipping containers being transported around the world. So the longer they're in there and the hotter it gets, the more microplastics are released in there.
Right. Absolutely.
And as someone who's working on a water bottle company who's working in glass, I understand why a lot of companies choose that easier, cheaper way of transporting in plastic. But really right now, the big trend is producing water in aluminum. It's
Yeah.
because aluminum is basically a negligible expense because there's so much aluminum byproduct waste from big manufacturing that these water companies can buy it basically for nothing. And all these waters that these brands are really using oftentimes just tend to be purified tap water, which is also a negligible expense.
Gotcha.
So your product really costs nothing, and it all becomes about marketing, hence where alkaline comes into play. And Essentia sold for $1 billion to Nestle in 2021. And Essentia was, as you know, and we kind of talked about, like the big alkaline water. And that is just a marketing myth to sell people purified tap water and cheap plastic bottles. And there is some legitimacy to alkalinity, but to create alkaline water at home, you put a little baking soda into your water, and there you go, it's alkaline.
Oh man, I used to have the alkaline machine, that tied to your water supply. And then you flipped it and you got it at which alkaline did you want it at, and had all the filters and everything. Like that was the extreme for me. But it was pretty good. I was getting, The water I never felt full on the water. Like it felt like it was just flowing through, but there was nothing in it. Yeah, it's flying through me. Yeah, I don't get that heavy feeling, but it's not allowing me to push even further as I need as an athlete, because our sessions for training are 2 and 3 hours long, and we need something that continues to bring us back, which is why everybody used sugar with Gatorade. And the original Gatorade was really, really good for you, but of course, after Gatorade sold, who they sell to? I think it was to Coca-Cola.
Probably, that sounds about right.
Yeah, after they sold to Coca-Cola, the sugar intake was just really big, and then they had to make Gatorade zero so that you didn't have any sugar. Like, oh, well now there's no sugar, but you had 150 milligrams of sodium, and then from there it's like, this is just water, watermelon, and sea salt. It's like, how do you have to keep on changing your product to fit the needs of today's more healthier society? It's just crazy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It is sad that these big companies buy a great quality brand and then it turns it into something that it
Just goes down the drain.
So we'll see if Liquid Life Wellness Water sells out to the man. Hopefully not. But yeah, man, it's pretty wild how that, really I hate the word consumer. So CPG is the consumer packaged goods industry. And this idea of consumer, means consumption. It's like, we're just being sold and you're nothing but, dollar signs to these big companies. Like, how many times can we get you to buy this product? I'm trying to come up with what is the new word for consumer? I hate that. Customer still seems a kind of like,
yeah.
But these are like human beings, right? That we're selling these products that lead to a happy, healthy lifestyle. Like, I don't know. I don't like that word consumer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of my missions right now.
I'm racking my brain right now. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe household investor.
Oh, household investor.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have enough household investors that we are able to. Yeah, we can have fun with it.
Yeah. Household investor. That sounds even more complicated.
Yes, 100%. 100%. We'll keep spitballing and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so going back to Gatorade.
Yes.
How about you finish this agua party? I'll pour you up some Sokosani, which honestly is like, in my opinion, like Gatorade minus any of the bad stuff because it's so high in minerals and electrolytes. This is where we start to get a little crazy. But going back to the original Gatorade point, can you tell me a bit more about what you know? I haven't done too much studying on Gatorade.
It's just all about knowing what was good for you and what isn't good for you. And I got to the point that the makers of Gatorade, they came up with a kind of like Himalayan sea salt electrolyte brand that was just the powder and you mixed it with your water of your choice. So I started using that instead of Gatorade, because Gatorade would bring you up, but it also fill you up. You feel full. You start crashing all of a sudden. If you were at halftime, you start crashing from the sugar high. And then after I started using that, I felt amazing. And not only that, but my teammates felt amazing. We actually had our own water bottle with just that in it, which was just a bunch of electrolytes and some sea salt and put into this Gatorade bottle, shake it up. And then the guys on my team used to drink it all the time. We used to have our own bottles of that stuff. And it was great. It was great. And that year we went all the way to the AFC Championship, and we just kept on trying to find ways how we could get an edge, whether it was with the water or the nutrition. There was something that was going to keep us going, keep us on the edge, because as an offensive lineman, which is my position on the field, we don't get a chance to leave. We're there every play. There's no play off for us. So you have to find an edge anywhere you can.
That's what they put me in middle school because I was fat.
They always try to do that. They always try to do that. But you know what? I was told what position I was going to be, and I wanted to play that position because I saw how much honor there was in the position because it was so selfless.
It really is a selfless position.
Yes, for sure. All of our stats are negative. Think about it. How many sacks did he give up? How many hits did he give up? How many pressures did he give up? Did he run this correctly? How well is he at his blocking assignment? That was it. There wasn't pancakes. I really wanted them to have a pancake stat, just showing how many times you put a guy in the ground against their will. But of course, that still hasn't come to fruition, and I played for 15 years. So,
Well, maybe one day.
we're trying. We're actually trying. Like we're literally trying
Lobbying for pancake.
Trying to get some positive stats, especially for these young kids growing up. I mean, you want to have something positive to tell them, not just trying to protect them from the negative.
And so over 15 years, does that like really wear on your ego in a way?
Your ego is challenged. Your humility is tested, because sometimes people get so much humility that they become like really passive, because they're trying to stay away from not being in the shine guy. But how can you have confidence if you're not like proud of what you're doing? And like, so it's a whole different amount of like mental gymnastics in order to make that happen. And as you grow older through it, you have some setbacks, and when you overcome them, that's when you get better. Yeah.
And to me, like that is just those are gifts in my life of these spiritual principles that I'm trying to live by. And how did your faith kind of come into the fold? Were you raised in a faithful household, or was this really a process of kind of exactly what you're talking about, being forced humility?
Well, I mean, honestly, it did start off as just a dream, and my father, my mother both believed in God. They went to 2 different churches, so that was a little weird. But other than that, I had the faith instilled in me. It was a chaotic kind of childhood, and my great aunt, she came into town, and while there was one of these traumatic things happening, she kind of pulled us to the side, got us interested, got us to commit ourselves to the Lord. And really, from that moment on, I knew that if I prayed for something, that it would happen as long as I had faith. So I prayed every night for 13 years, and that this is what I wanted. And at the end of the day, now as a grown man, now understanding about the grace principle, I know that it was God's grace that got me through those times. Those setbacks was God's grace, God's love, to be able to put me back in the position, better prepared for what to happen next, and then to move forward. And then just knowing my whole life was like, just the fact that I was born without any type of deformity, any type of limitation, with the size that I had, it's all God's grace. So, just knowing that helped me get through. The problem was that after I made it, after I achieved what I achieved, that's when I started thinking I could do it my own way. I thought I could make it my own. I thought that I put in the work. I got so confident with the journey of 13 years of being prepared with it that I had to learn that it's not me that's still doing this, that it's my journey. This is God propelling me to this position. This is a culmination of blessings, grace, mercy, everything.
Amen to that.
That's what it was. That's what got me where I was. And he used to find ways to make sure that I was humble, that I didn't get too big of myself. I'm like, I'm beating everybody. I'm stronger than everybody. I'm going first round. I went first pick in the second round. First pick in the second round. I was like,
I see you.
I see you. I see what you did there. You know what I mean? And just like, but I needed that. I needed those trials. I needed those pressures, because that pressure is what gave me, the ability to persevere over so many different obstacles, different challenges, different traumas. When my sister and my dad passed in the same month in 2020, the purpose for football just completely left me. The willingness to want to go play just completely left me, and I was really just doing it as a job. And everything was like, okay, resist all the temptation for that 6 months, 7 months, and then once the off season comes, just go wild. And because of that, I had 2 addictions. I had addictions with alcohol and with sex. And I started coming to Oasis after that. I started coming to Oasis. And after I started coming to Oasis, I got called out. I got called out that somebody in here has an addiction. I was just like, maybe you're talking to somebody else.
Not me, Julian. Not me, Julian.
I'm just going to sit on my hands. I'm just going to sit on my hands. But then, after that, I just understood that God had his eyes on me, that he had his hands on me, that even though all the things that I've done, even though the things that I regret, even all those things, that he still had a hold of me, he still cares for me, loves me, and that what I do matters, and that my existence matters, and that I could leave shame at the cross. I can let grace overshadow all these guilt, shame, regret, all those things, and come out better on the other side. And I have done that. So it's a rewarding feeling. I give a lot of respect to the men's group because of that. Because I mean, how many people are going to challenge you to be transparent, to let it go, to be open? You know, all we're taught is to close it in. Don't show pain. Don't show weakness. Don't show emotion, because that is weakness. That was completely false narrative. And the only thing that I regret is that I didn't know this sooner. So that when I was playing, that I could put all of this on the field. You know, the saying, I am the righteousness of God in Christ. I could have said that in between plays. You know what I mean? And just be completely filled and with confidence and power, heavenly power. Probably quiet the entire crowd. Like all of those pressures and everything that I felt would have left me, you know? Because that's what it is, man. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And hopefully one day I can help some of these young athletes figure that out sooner. And maybe we could change the narrative on the outlook of the athlete.
And do you think that's kind of the next season of your life?
It has been a vision. It has been a vision of me being a chaplain for a team. The only thing is, I know that right now what he's doing through me and doing to me, it's to prepare me for that role. So he's not ready for me to go yet. So I have to be in stillness now. But I have a really good feeling that that's what's going to happen in the future.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I think that's fun. You know what I mean? I get to go to games, no pressure. I don't got to coach, I don't got to play, but I get to have the relationships with the guys, which you hear from most of the retired NFL players, is that they miss the locker room. I would never leave the locker room again. So, I mean, there's all these pluses, but you know, there's still a lot of road left. And I think of myself as kind of a visionary when it comes to these things, and you know, it's just about letting go and just allowing him to take the wheel and following it. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's where I am in my journey right now.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. I got to be more present dad, you know, a great boyfriend, and also just be so much of a better help to my family than just financially. You know, I'm just always emotionally available. Like, it's big changes happening.
You know what? I think we should cheer to that. Cheers to
man.
that.
Heck yeah.
Cheers.
I'm getting ready to try this. How much is this?
Socosani. This is an Ecuadorian water. Yeah.
So you know it's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I poured you quite a bit.
So hey, listen. I gotta
sorry,
stay
or
hydrated.
you're welcome in advance. I don't know, depending on your initial thoughts.
Dude, this tickles my tongue.
Yeah. So this water is naturally effervescent, meaning that there's actually natural carbonation in this water.
Really?
Yes.
Naturally?
Yep. So some mineral water sources actually have pretty intense natural carbonation.
Jeez, man.
So effervescent means that it's in between still and sparkling. And so if you let this kind of sit out for a little bit, that carbonation really kind of dissipates and it becomes more of a flat water.
Gotcha.
The TDS is marketed at 1,800 milligrams per liter.
Wait a minute.
1,800? That's 10 times the aqua
Oh
particle.
my gosh.
But it's testing at 893. So the last bottle of Socosani I tested was actually closer to 1,000. But then again, you know, just like God gives us grace for our mistakes and falling shorts, we do the same thing for these living waters.
So do you think that's because of the travel to get here?
I don't think it has anything to do with the travel, because whatever's in the bottle, especially with glass. So it would actually add to the TDS if it was plastic, because you're getting these microplastics in there.
Oh, okay,
right?
Okay.
It wouldn't subtract from it.
Gotcha.
I think it just has much more to do with these brands probably aren't reprinting their labels every 3 months, 6 months, year even. They probably make these, and then that label was probably made 4 years ago when they had the bottle design.
Yeah.
You know, and thinking about the whole packaging infrastructure as it aligns with the natural water source. But even 888 milligrams per liter.
That's a lot, dude.
That's a lot.
This is intense.
Yeah. It's thick water.
Intense. Yeah. But it's good though. Like it tastes good. The carbonation isn't overpowering at all. And I mean, I feel like I'm drinking something to aid me.
Yeah. And this water in particular, the source has a super high bicarbonate level in it. It's marketed as 1,400 milligrams per liter of bicarbonate alone.
Okay.
Which is baking soda.
Yeah.
Which is really, I'll drink this water if my stomach's upset, instead of reaching for a Tums or something to take pill-wise.
That's amazing.
This is amazing. They sell this at Sprouts. This is run by a young water entrepreneur who worked at Coca-Cola for many years and has a conglomerate now where he sources all these waters from around the world that are amazing mineral waters and sells them. So shout out to Sokosanu.
Dude,
Yep.
how crazy is it that people leave these giant corporations and just have like this need, like, I want to help people, I want to make a better product, and it's just like, what are we doing? Why are we still drinking this stuff? We have their best people leaving, to make a more quality, healthier product for people. Like they just have like maker's remorse or something. I don't know. I don't know if I should say this on camera.
Okay, well done.
I knew the lady that had the formula to Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
Many a time I used to try to convince her after a couple of libations. Hey, can you think I could know the formula now?
What is it, 23?
Yeah, the
Okay.
23 flavors.
So she knew all 23.
Yeah, and I would be like, hey, you think I could? And she'd be like, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
And you're still standing, so.
I'm still standing, so I don't know.
She only gave you 22.
Yeah, she didn't give me one word. They keep those secrets locked up, man. I don't know how they do it, but she knew. She knew.
Have you ever watched those videos on YouTube of people like making their own Coca-Cola or their own sodas?
Oh no.
It's pretty wild because there's all these plants and different essential oil, basically, kinds of things that go into these tonics that have become, there's just so much sugar.
Yeah, that's
in
what I'm
these
saying.
products
Like
now.
I'd probably croak if I made my own Coca-Cola.
It's pretty wild. I think eventually, like through our water product, we're launching a still water in a glass bottle, and that's a big part of my journey, is taking the audience along with us as a young water
wonderful.
entrepreneur launching
Yeah.
this company. And it's been really eye-opening to be on that side of things also, and in communication with all these manufacturers and these big companies and these, industry people, and also be someone who's in love with water and trying to push the ball forward as an industry to be able to offer people better options.
We gotta help oh, there goes that word. We gotta help the household investors.
Yeah, welcome to Household Invest. That's my new podcast name, Rodger. I think we're gonna have a duo. Welcome. We are literally in my household right now.
Yeah. Exactly. But we have to let people know, because the normal person doesn't see the difference.
100%.
When I'm overexerting myself, I can tell the difference based on what I'm drinking. And I look at, like, when we're at away games, we're only given like the little water bottle, the little water, Giant Eagle, Ralph's, whatever grocery store sells the little market water bottles, and those are the only water bottles that we have.
What?
Yeah, so like I look at them things like,
That's a disadvantage.
yeah, we used to have guys bringing over like 4-liter bottles of Essentia, 2 for that night and 2 for before the game, like to try to get an edge on water.
Okay, we need to tap in Liquid Life Wellness Water and figure out away game distribution for sports teams.
It's all about these contracts. Once people get the right contracts with the right people that are distributing, that's when things go nuts.
Really, you need a water plug.
Dude, I literally did a photo for Essentia. I did a photo for Essentia.
Hercules style?
I was sitting in my dining room, in my kitchen, and I was just on like the little island, and I was just drinking my little water bottle, and I was looking fit, and I was just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But Essentia back then, I think that was like 2019 to 2021. that it was it was everywhere. I used to get those bottles. I get cases, probably 5 or 6 cases a month.
Wow.
That would just automatically come through like the Amazon Prime.
Wow.
Like that's how crazy water gets for the athlete. Like to go through that much water is just nuts.
Today I saw a review on Oasis Water app, which is the kind of the biggest water review app where they go into data. Now I don't agree with all their data. I found some
Doesn't it change?
pinpoints. It does, but with a product like Essentia or Smart Water, which is Coca-Cola's competitor to Essentia, they source their water through local municipal tap water supplies. And so yes, there are definitely major varying differences between these different municipalities, but water is heavy and it costs a lot of money to transport.
Yeah.
Cheaper to do it when you do it in plastic or aluminum rather than glass.
Right.
But these companies are sourcing water through different municipalities so that they can be close to distribution centers to get that water to the store cheaper.
Oh,
right.
okay.
And so what happens with these brands is they use tap water and then they have their own, sometimes patented purification process. With Essentia, when they first launched, one of my mentors on my water brand actually was one of their first manufacturers. So he, kind of let me know some things about what they were doing to kind of raise the alkalinity, not just through remineralization, but they get the water down, not Essentia necessarily, but a lot of these big water companies get the water down to 0 TDS or as close to 0 as possible so they can have a consistent product around the United States and around the world. Wow. And then they remineralize with magnesium chloride, potassium chloride, some bicarbonate, right, to add those minerals for taste or those added electrolytes for taste, right? But those, again, are just marketing myths. Really, what people should be drinking, you need a lot less water when you're drinking it. If you're drinking high-quality mineral waters and then substituting that with, just a good quality spring or artesian well, a lower TDS water, just kind of is your everyday water throughout the day. You don't need I drink like a bottle of mineral water every day or so, and dude, the amount of water you need is actually pretty surprisingly low if you're drinking good quality water.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Like I said, if it's just running through you, you're going to just keep...
You're detoxing yourself.
Yes, exactly.
It's a detoxifying agent. It is a solvent, right? It'll dissolve whatever, it's
and
stored in.
And nobody can drink, a
gallons?
half gallon of that. Like I know that like some people, when they drink too much water, like they'll have swelling in their legs and stuff like that. Like you're not going to get that. You're not even going to be able to put that much water down.
Yeah,
like
you'll be throwing it up.
Yeah.
Especially out there on the field.
Oh gosh.
Pissing like a racehorse.
Oh gosh. But you know what? The mineral water, we don't. I really feel like people don't understand how much how many minerals we need.
So many.
And if you really want your body running properly, that could help you with your recovery. That could help you with how much water you're exerting when you're working out, you're sweating and all those things. Like all of those things matter. And we're constantly seeing more and more that how many minerals are you getting back? There's tons and tons and tons of information to bring up, ways to get minerals back in your body through food, all types of stuff. And then now everybody's just putting those minerals in capsules and people are popping a million of them.
Yep.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to be like the guy that's spending $2 million on his body every year.
Oh, Brian Johnson, I believe.
Dude.
Here's a little Netflix documentary.
Dude, I'm like, you did what with your son? Like you took the blood from the son, took the plasma,
nope,
put it in grandpa, then put it in
I'm good.
And then you don't live. You don't live trying to do that.
You also look crazy. I mean, literally looks like a vampire. I'd love to have Brian Johnson on the show and talk about water. One of my goals for this podcast is to have people who are all over the map, right? And have very different viewpoints on things. Like I've seen some videos of his on YouTube, and he's very specific about measuring it. He believes in I think a vegetarian diet, which I'm definitely very against, because a lot of our minerals, especially in today's day and age, when vegetables and fruit a lot of the times don't have nearly as minerals and nutrients as they once did, is we get most of our really essential nutrients and minerals from red meat. Magnesium, calcium, iron, these sorts of things.
Yeah.
From grass-fed, good quality beef, which is
Yeah.
very expensive now and even harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
And so the quality of water we're drinking is even more important these days when the soil isn't as nutrient rich and dense and big agriculture and genetically modified organisms. And so that's really one of the reasons why I'm launching this water business is to
nice.
educate people about this. And literally, I mean, you're on the same wavelength as me already.
For sure.
But a lot of people just buy water because it's marketed to them really well, and they believe that it's good for them. And the perception of reality is created within many times, right? And so if we really believe something about something, it reacts to our body in a positive manner.
Yeah.
But I'm very against people getting sold purified tap water at insanely expensive rates. And coming back to Essentia, the Oasis Water app did a review of their product that came out today. They scored it 1 out of 100, which is the lowest out of any water I've seen on there.
Me.
And I disagree with a lot of their numbers on some other waters in my reviews and my research that I've done, so I'm not going to say that's for sure. But I just saw that a few hours ago, and it's like testing super high in bromate, which is actually a byproduct when you have naturally occurring bromide in the water, and they use ozonation to kill bacteria and parasites, which is a good thing. But if you have bromate in the water, you don't want these bromides. Okay, so there's all these kind of negative reactions to these over processing of these tap waters. And sure, you're killing this one particular thing, but then you get all these DBPs, which are disinfection byproducts, which are even worse than what you were initially trying to kill.
Man, it's so funny. Just like I said, I was overseas in the Philippines, and the food. I mean, these people are eating every hour and a half, 2 hours. And I mean, until they're full. And then they're able to eat again in just a couple hours. Like, one, your metabolism is going crazy, but also their food is so clean, it's just digested easier. They can eat more of it. It's not preserved for a long amount of time. That's something that we just don't have over here. And I used to make this joke all the time. Maybe it's the steroids in the chicken why I got so big.
Bro.
But I was just like, there's just so
Tyson.
much getting put so much in everything. It's like you just don't know what's going in. And I would like to know what water is going in. Because there are certain waters that make you feel sick after a while, and you don't understand why. And then when you sit down and really take a look, it's like, hey, listen, you're not really getting what you think that you're getting. Or you're drinking so much of this stuff that they find all these little particles in there, and you're drinking a lot of it. Like not like regular, like you're drinking a ton. Like I drink over a gallon of water a day, like it's nothing. But that's what I need.
Yeah, you're also like twice as big as the average person.
So can you imagine how many like plastic particles?
Yep, and even
are in
worse.
This party right now. They're like, oh man, you get a lot through water bottles, through the air, through your clothes. And I'm like, oh shoot, with the water, I'm done, man. I was like, I gotta switch the glass ASAP.
Well, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is Ararat. This is the most famous Armenian water. LA has a big Armenian population, and I love this water. So I'm excited to share it with you.
Nice.
This has a marketed TDS around 2,200, I do believe.
Oh wow.
Do a little cheers to that.
Yes, this actually looks insane.
Some people have noticed that the water actually, you can tell the visible, like almost thickness to that water.
Yeah.
And it becomes more of a solid, right, with those higher TDS levels.
Oh man, yeah.
Different, right?
Yeah, to the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're getting funky right here.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is added carbonation. What kind of hits your palate at first?
I don't know. I can taste the thickness. But yeah, I mean, it would be hard to drink a ton of this.
Yeah, it would
like,
definitely
really be hard. Like
Yeah.
this is.
Just wait till we
this
get to the
is
next
great.
one.
Oh man.
So if you're on the sideline, you probably have to mix this with a little, watermelon juice or something like that.
Something like that. Just yeah.
So this water is higher in sulfates. Now that's the taste. It's kind of like a sour, almost pungent,
Yeah.
kind of a nasty taste to it.
Got you. Okay, so that's what I couldn't put my finger on. Gotcha.
Sulfur, right?
Okay.
You drive around the La Brea tar pits, you get that, smell. there's some good things to sulfur and sulfates in your water. Is it my favorite taste or aspect of a high mineral content water? Definitely not. And in fact, I kind of avoid higher sulfate content water. It occurs a lot in natural wines. I don't drink, I haven't in a long time, but some people get really bad headaches when they have sulfate. So that's like one thing that I don't love the taste, but as far as the other minerals in the water, this is super high in sodium. And so do you like saunas, like cold plunge, steam room, bathhouse type?
Oh man.
Yeah.
You name it.
Have you been to the Beverly Hot Spring here in LA?
No, I've never been.
So it's 7 minutes away. I went before our show today. Because Wednesday is Wellness Wednesday for Preston. And I'm very happy to be rehydrating right now.
I love that for you. I love that for you.
You have to, you got to take care of your vessel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And water's the most basic element to human life and just really life in general, other than, in my opinion, spirit, God, right? I think water is kind of second to that.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to have like some sort of like burp outtake for
I
this.
know, right? That's what I was just thinking. I was like, what is gonna happen? There's something brewing.
We'll have like piss breaks sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Oh man. Oh, that's so good.
Let's test this TDS first before I drink all of it. So this one's clocking in at high 900s. So a little bit higher than that Sokosani.
Jeez.
It's a fun water.
So did they do their first bottle of water and was like, oh yeah, 2200. And just was like, oh hey everybody, it's 2200.
I know. I would prefer if the minerality was higher than the marketed position, but people don't even look at the bottle. Like they don't know what TDS or milligrams per liter even means.
I had no clue until right now. It's actually something I would definitely look for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the water doesn't actually have that on there, I'm not paying a bunch of money for it.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so it's a good sign that the water company knows what they're doing when they're actually putting that TDS on there and using that as marketing. And what I call living waters, which is also a biblical term, right, is spring sources, artesian well sources, mineral sources. That's what I'm after. If I want tap water, you can get a water filter at home. You can get a zero water filter, which filters it to zero TDS. They give you a TDS meter with that. Not sponsored, but it'll filter it to zero, and you'll have basically distilled water at home if you want to go detox yourself all the time.
Exactly. You're gonna be going to the bathroom over and over.
And are you ready for?
I don't know. After you prep me for this last one.
This one, Vichy Catalan, is a water from Spain.
Oh man.
This one is no joke. You hear that?
Yeah.
It is. It's talking to Rodger right now.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, this one is no joke. I'm excited for you to try it. This is marketed at about 3,000 milligrams per liter. I think the last time I tested it was more around 1,500.
He's got half of the glass filled, and it's already. I can feel my hand. Like
you can feel the actual weight of the water
just
too.
Working, just working right now. Oh man.
This one is no joke.
Jeez, dude. Yeah, you can see it. It's kind of crazy that's.
You can even smell this water too.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Oh wow, dude.
Oh wow. We're at 2,200.
Oh my
So this one is much closer to what's actually marketed as, which is great. Shout out to Vichy Catalan. We love Vichy Catalan.
Yes, standing on business.
Europe does not mess around with their mineral waters. So Germany is the most mineral water obsessed out of any country.
Really?
Yes. And if you go to Trader Joe's, they have this water called Gerolsteiner, which I oftentimes have on here, which is my favorite commercially available mineral water. It is marketed around 2,400 TDS, but on average it's about more like 1,000.
Yeah.
But that one's one I can drink every day. Vichy Catalan, I'm good with a little cupful, so
Yeah.
give it a little rip. Let me know what you think, bud.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm tasting every bit of that. Like it feels like if you just if you busted open a thermometer and just drank the mercury.
Sponsored by Mercury.
Dude, no, this thing is it's crazy. Man, you taste it immediately.
And so with mineral waters and just water in general, a lot of people are so obsessed with taste, right? Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, this water tastes good. This water, I think that's people's bodies reacting to water that actually is good for their body if it tastes good to them versus water that isn't. And when you're in the lower categories, what I'm more interested in is that mineral content, right? But with this one, there is absolutely zero denying the taste.
Yeah.
And as someone who is obsessed with mineral waters, this one is like still hard for me to kind of get down. What are the, as I burp, flavors that are coming up for you in this water?
Woo! It feels like a subtle saltiness and like it almost like it's so thick, you know, it's so thick to like holding around my entire mouth, and it's like I'm just getting like that saltiness and that thickness. That's what's overpowering. But you know, the more that I sip on this, the more that I'm acquiring like kind of the taste of it. Yeah.
There's almost, I haven't actually noticed this when I drink this water in the past in the shows. I must have not had the Ararat right before it, but there's something in the Ararat, I guess the sulfates that are interacting with this water, and I get actually a sweet undertone to it as well.
Oh, you got a sweet undertone.
But that intense brininess, that saltiness really comes off first and foremost.
Yeah, it's immediate. It's immediate.
But I bet if you drank like even just a glass of this water before a game, you would have a whole different experience probably.
Yeah, because you'd have just that mineral boost, man.
I want to be the mineral man with those teams and just like pull up to the hotel and be like, I got you.
A cup of this. Pre-game mineral water, dude. You want to change the game.
The mineral man.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude, I was so sick of seeing Dasani and
dude, that's my least favorite.
Aquafina and all that stuff in there. And then guys are just trying to shove IVs in, you know, with saline and everything. Yeah, because we had one of the hottest games. Well, it was like 95 degrees in Miami. We played, I was on the Buffalo Bills. So, you know, practicing in Buffalo and then playing in Miami is two completely different environments. And we had 95 plays, which, you know, on average you have probably 67. We had 95, and I mean, we lost everybody to heat exhaustion.
Were you one of them?
Nope.
Because you were out here drinking the electrolyte?
Yeah, staying on top of that. That was the difference. And you're talking about a guy that was 34, 35, and all these other guys are 22, 23 years old, just dropping like flies. Like, you know, it matters. The hydration matters. I remember looking at my left tackle, Dion, on the Bills, and I remember being like, hey man, we're gonna have to find a way to finish this game. We didn't have any more offensive linemen left. If we lost if we lost one more guy, we were gonna have to put in a tight end to play the position, to play tackle or something. It was a nightmare, and you know, you could just tell the guts of just some of these guys. Because, I mean, these guys are playing through cramps and all these things, but just, you know, when you're not in that environment and you're not used to having to stay up with your hydration like that, like, things happen. And when you're when you're out there, it's different. Like, we were always in the sun. They built the stadium so that the home team is always in the shade.
Oh.
Just not fair, dude. Just not fair. There's nothing covering you. Sun's all in your face. But yeah, we lost like, I want to say like maybe 10, 11 guys to heat illness, heat problems.
Well,
you know,
maybe that won't happen in the future with Liquid Life Wellness water.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just I guess what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to paint a picture of how important it is, how important hydration is. And we have tried a million different ways. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you know, believe it or not, eating is another part of your hydration.
100%. So those minerals.
Dude, so the minerals help, man. The minerals help. The electrolytes help. These are the things that sustain you, and they help you when you don't know that you need it. So it's a big part of what we do as professional athletes.
100%.
I mean, you look at these guys, the Gatorade, is it in you? You know, guys sweating orange and purple.
I don't want all that sugar.
I don't want all that sugar.
We're gonna let Mother Nature, God, be my water source.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
and
absolutely.
I think as more people kind of become aware of that, it's going to become more and more of a thing. So I'm excited.
It's so many things are just educational, and let's
Exactly.
be real. Most of our ads and marketing aren't trying to educate you. It's just trying to get you fixated on a product to buy.
Be that household investor.
And be that household investor.
You are investing in our firm. Thank you. The last question I have for you, speaking of investment, is your involvement in esports.
Yes.
I was a semi-professional Call of Duty player when I was about 12 years old. And so I was very familiar with Rise Nation. I was an Optic man myself, even before they moved to Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So sorry, not sorry.
No, that's all right. Because Optic was huge. I mean, before them, it was Fear. You remember when Fear was just were the men back then? Then after Optic took over, they took over, I feel like, for so long. It's been like, what, 15, 20 years?
At least, yeah.
Of this, just their reign on top, which
Optic
is
Scumpy.
Really, bro, Scump, greatest player ever. I mean, you can try to say it's simp right now, but really it's just kind of like age before beauty type of thing. You know, simp is, young guy, but he's a wizard. And then you got Scump, who just, it doesn't matter what game you put in front of him, he just annihilates. So that's kind of where my head is at with it. And even though he's over 30 now, he still plays insane. So for me though, I got in, it was the cheapest time to get in to esports. I was streaming my gameplay with my friends, like just some cool stuff to do together. And eventually somebody came up with the idea, like, hey, you should have your own team. Me and my buddy from college, we both decided that we were going to build up this team together. We ended up doing it. We were able to get the trademarks and everything business related taken care of. We came up with the name. It was going to be Rise Nation. Then after that, we had somebody build out, a nice little shield for us that would look good. Man, we ended up picking up a team that was going to the Call of Duty World Championships on Call of Duty Ghost. And then that was just history from there. And that was the first time ever where I started understanding where life was like as an owner. Because during that, my buddy Looney, he decided that he was going to race somebody at the event. Well, he falls, injures his thumb. No.
That is the one thing you can't injure as a competitive gamer.
It was so funny. We're like, can you still use it? And now I'm starting to understand, like, as a player, like, when you get injured, it's like the owner is probably sitting up there like, okay, what do we got to do? How do we get this guy back on the field? Is he going to feel any better? How's he feel today? What's it looking like tomorrow? Like that type of deal. And we ended up finishing out the tourney. He was fine, but it was just so funny because he messed it up pretty bad. But he's an animal.
I remember Looney.
He's had a great career. He's a coach now. He's doing really, really well. Super happy for him. He's been on a few of my teams over the years, and then we had a great group of guys. We won Anaheim, won CDL Vegas 1 year. So we had some championships on our belt. We started getting into like the Street Fighter and like the fighting games. So we had a #1 Street Fighter player in the world. He was from Brazil. He won it all. Great kid. And then we had who else do we have? We had a Madden player. He was a beast. He was so good that EA hired him.
Wow.
And that's how we lost him.
Wow. Well, that's a compliment.
You know what I mean? It's pretty awesome. And then we've had streamers, and we've been in a ton of different games. We tried to get into a little bit of CSGO. That is a whole different world. You know, that computer, strictly PC gaming was just like a completely different realm for us.
I see a guy, he plays CSGO right across there at night. Every night. And that's my live streaming of CSGO extent.
Yeah, dude.
I'm on my Marvel Rivals right now, bro.
Oh, I haven't gotten a chance to play that game, but I've heard that it is amazing.
Your boy's Grandmaster right now.
They just said that it's overtaking Overwatch, which we had an Overwatch team for a while, which was pretty cool. It's hard to track those games, you know, especially as an announcer. They have to be really skilled in order to commentate because it's just like chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we did this for a lot of years, and then Call of Duty went into the franchise, and they just wanted a little bit more than we were willing to give. And then we were looking at the trend, and there was a lot of money coming in, a lot of promises, but we weren't sure that it was going to be able to pan out. And it really has kind of gone downhill, and they're trying to bring it back up, which I think that they can. But I think they should have just took their time a little bit longer figuring out the trial error portion of it all. But yeah, it was exciting stuff, man. We had a great time. It was a great time doing it. But at any point, you got to make sure that you cut your losses, because I didn't want to put myself too much in the hole trying to make that happen and then not have the money reach the other side like it's supposed to. Like I said, I got 2 kids. This is it's important to make sure that they have everything that they need.
100%.
And private school doesn't pay for itself, so I just we got to make sure we put the money where it's supposed to be put.
Heard that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, man. This is great, man. This is great. What you're doing here is great. I believe in this. Obviously, we could sit here for hours talking about water, but I really hope to see nothing but good things for you, and I know God is going to bless you with this stuff, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
And these are some test water designs that I've just been making here in my studio. I'd like to gift you one.
Oh, nice.
If you want to pick one out. These are kind of coming back to my days in fashion.
Let's see.
You'll have one of
There's
the very
something.
first.
There's something. The glow at the bottom of this bottle is like I think that's the one for me. Yes. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, my brother.
Oh man, this is nice. This is gonna look good in my house.
I love it. Send me a photo.
I will.
Put some roses in it if you don't want to.
Put some roses in it.
A couple of paint chippings in your water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very preliminary sketches over here.
Yes, but it is beautiful. I'll tell you that. It is beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rodger.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no problem, man. No problem at all.
And we'll catch you on Liquid Life episode 4. Peace, y'all.